Being an archaeologist sounds thrilling, and sometimes it is. But let's be real, not every dig feels like Indiana Jones. Most days, it's just dust, dirt, and another shard of pottery that looks like the last 50. But this video isn't about the boring days. This is about the holy crap, is this real? Kind of finds, the kind that turns an average Tuesday into the highlight of someone's entire career. We're talking rare, weird, one-in-a-million finds that had archaeologists screaming into the void in the best way possible. Buckle up. These 15 finds are about to blow your mind. Number Quince. Apollo once cave stones. Well, the name might suggest a connection to outer space, but the Apollo 11 cave stones are all about Earth's oldest creativity. So there are no aliens. Discovered in a Namibian cave in 1969, the same week humans landed on the moon, these decorated slabs became the oldest known artworks at the time. Etched with animals like big cats and cattle, the stones date back around 25,500 years, placing them deep into the Paleolithic era. But the cave itself has way more to offer. Just a few years ago, archaeologists found butchered animal bones inside, complete with human tool marks, clocking in at a staggering 880,000 years old. Now that's not just old, that's totally mind-bending. The cave seems to have been a living, breathing part of human history for hundreds of thousands of years. While the Apollo 11 moon mission made headlines, this cave told a quieter story, one of early humans painting their world, carving meaning into stone, and unknowingly leaving behind the earliest echoes of what would one day be called art. Number 14. Battlefield Gold Seal of China. In 2017, while scanning a battlefield site from China's chaotic Ming-Qing transition period, archaeologists struck gold, yup, real G for gold. Buried under centuries of dust and war debris, they unearthed more than 10,000 items, but one piece stood out, a golden imperial seal. Roughly the size of a small notepad, this 3x 1-inch chunk of gold is topped with a tortoise and believed to have belonged to a royal heir, possibly even one who never made it to the throne. The site, linked to the historic Jiangku Chenyin area, is packed with relics from a time when the Ming dynasty collapsed and the Qing took power. The seal, likely one of a kind, might have even passed through the hands of Zhang Shenzhang, a rebel warlord known as the Yellow Tiger. It's rare enough to find battle loot still intact, but something this symbolic, this pristine, that's once-in-a-career territory. The tortoise motif is a known symbol of longevity and authority. It is definitely not the kind of thing you'd toss into your average war chest. It's special and it's rare. Number 13. Nahal Mishmar Horde. When Israeli archaeologist Pesach Baradan stepped into a cave in the Judean desert in 1961, he probably didn't expect to rewrite history. But tucked behind a boulder, wrapped in straw and buried in silence, sat over 5,700 ancient artifacts, most of them unlike anything ever seen. These weren't random relics, they were ceremonial treasures from the Copper Age, now called the Nahal Mishmar Horde. The collection includes scepters, mace heads, crowns, and other enigmatic objects, some shaped like animals that don't exist in any known ecosystem. And here's the kicker. Most of them are made of copper and were crafted with such skill that they still baffle experts. The cave's now famously nicknamed the Cave of Treasures, and rightfully so. It's a rare, untouched window into the blurry shift between the Neolithic and Bronze Ages. What's strangest, some of the items are so unfamiliar that we still have zero idea what they were for. It's like opening a time capsule with half the instructions missing and all the mystery still intact. Number 12. Mangup Kale. For generations, people carved their lives straight into the mountains of Crimea. Mangup Kale wasn't just built, it was hollowed into the stone, one cave at a time. It started sometime around 500 CE, maybe earlier, and what followed was over 1,000 years of occupation, resistance, and grit. This place wasn't made for comfort. It was a fortress built for survival. Steep cliffs, narrow paths, harsh winters. It was the kind of location you'd pick if you were expecting trouble, and trouble came often. By the 13th century, the city of Doros had become a key piece of the local power puzzle. But everything changed when the Ottomans showed up in the 1400s. They tore it apart, then rebuilt it for their own. Centuries later, it faded into silence. Now all that remains are faded frescoes, eroded walls, and caves that whisper stories if you stand still long enough. What's gone might be lost, but the bones of that stubborn city still hold, and you can see them. Number 11. 46,000-year-old horned lark. In Siberia's permafrost, nature pulled off the preservation equivalent of cryogenic magic. Fossil hunters in 2020 stumbled upon a horned lark that looked freshly dead, like it had just hit a window a week ago. Except, it had been frozen for more than 46,000 years. Found in the Bagara region, this little bird is now the oldest known specimen of its kind, from a lineage linked but not identical to modern horned larks. What shocked scientists wasn't just the age, but the condition. It was practically mummified by ice right after death. The body was so well preserved, researchers are using it to better understand ancient climate patterns and how quickly permafrost can lock things in place. While horned larks still exist today, this ancient cousin gives a unique glimpse into the Ice Age ecosystem. It's not just a cool bird, it's a frozen timestamp from a world that's long gone. Mother Nature once again is proving it's the OG preservationist. Number 10. The Treasure of Garazar. In the 1850s, an orchard near Toledo, Spain kept coughing up gold like it was trying to win a prize for generosity. Between 1858 and 1861, archaeologists pulled treasure after treasure from the soil, an entire stash of 7th century Visigothic artifacts, now known as the Treasure of Garazar. Think glittering gold crowns, intricate votive crosses, and offerings meant for the Roman Catholic Church. It wasn't just a religious donation, it was a flex. The Visigoths were showing loyalty to both God and the Pope, and probably making a political statement while they were at it. The crown of King Rex's Winth, decked out in blue sapphires, is a standout piece. How the whole stash ended up underground remains a mystery. Some of it, like the crown of King Swintila, was stolen in the 1920s and never recovered. Even so, what remains is enough to call this one of the most significant medieval treasure discoveries ever made. It's less a find, more a full-on time capsule of royal devotion and bling. What do you say about it? Let us know. Number 9. China SIP's Pyramid of Shima. In the hills of Shanxi province, archaeologists found a 230-foot-tall pyramid that's older than the Great Wall and just as loaded with secrets. Once the heart of the ancient Shimao city, built nearly 4,000 years ago, it was protected by massive walls and, more hauntingly, surrounded by pits filled with human skulls. Those weren't war casualties. They were sacrifices. The pyramid likely housed a palace on top, with wooden pillars and tiled roofs, suggesting this was a major political and spiritual hub long before China's Central Plains became the dominant power base. Until it was unearthed in 2018, the site had flown completely under the radar, changing everything archaeologists thought they knew about Bronze Age China. Its location near the Tuwei River shows how advanced societies flourished in unexpected places. No gold, no jewels, just stone, bones, and the quiet power of a civilization that ruled its high ground with ritual and force. Number 8. Ancient Mesopotamian Tablet. Well, customer service headaches aren't a new issue. Way back in ancient Mesopotamia time, around 4,000 years ago, one guy had enough and made history. His name was Nani, and he got so fed up with a sketchy copper deal that he carved out the world's oldest customer complaint on a clay tablet. The complaint was directed at a merchant named E.A. Nasir, who sold him low-quality copper and then ghosted him when Nani asked for a refund. Instead of stewing in silence, Nani put his frustration into cuneiform, one of the earliest written languages. The message basically said, "I'm coming to see you in person, and we're gonna talk about this." That little brick of rage was found in the ancient city of in what's now Iraq. It's oddly relatable, just swap copper for a bad Amazon order, and you've got the same energy. Whether Nani ever gets his refund, no clue. but his petty clapback made it through 40 centuries, so who truly won? Number 7. The Sword of Gujian. They pulled it from a tomb in Hubei back in 1965, just a bronze sword sealed in a wooden box next to a skeleton. Nothing unusual until someone ran a finger along the edge and it sliced clean through skin. That moment flipped everything. This wasn't just any ancient weapon, it was the Sword of Gujian, more than 2,000 years old and somehow still razor sharp. The conditions in that tomb should have destroyed it. Bronze and moisture don't play nice, yet there it was, flawless, untarnished, deadly. The blade carried an inscription naming King Gujian of Yu, a ruler known for losing everything and then coming back for revenge. Just like the sword, really. No rust, no rot, just precision and pride. It wasn't some fantasy relic, this thing was real and it still had bite. Historians called it a miracle and scientists are still scratching their heads. Number 6. 12 Shipwrecks. Well, finding one shipwreck in the vast Mediterranean is rare enough. But finding 12? Now that's next level. In early 2020, British researchers hit the jackpot when their underwater drones uncovered a whole fleet of sunken ships beneath the Levantine Sea, some over a mile deep. These weren't just old, broken boats either. These ships were loaded with historical treasures, tobacco pipes, Chinese porcelain, coffee pots, and even peppercorns. A few date back 2,300 years, while one massive 17th century ship was so big it could have carried 2 regular-sized ones inside it. This stretch of sea was once a buzzing trade highway for the Roman, Ottoman, and Greek empires, but the sheer density of wrecks suggests it may have been even busier and richer than historians imagined. These discoveries have experts rethinking how powerful and profitable ancient Mediterranean trade routes actually were. Thanks to deep-sea tech and a bit of luck, what was once just a hunch is now a goldmine of underwater history. Number 5. Neolithic cow skull surgery. At a Neolithic site in France, researchers came across a cow skull with a perfectly round hole cut clean through its cranium. Dated to around 5,000 years ago, the find quickly raised eyebrows, not because of the skull itself, but because of what had been done to it. The hole appeared deliberate, the edges were smooth, and most importantly, it matched the marks typically left by early forms of trepanation, the world's oldest known brain surgery. The catch: this wasn't a human patient, this was a cow. There were no signs of healing, which means the animal didn't survive long, if at all. But was this a failed medical attempt, or was the cow used as a test subject by Neolithic people trying to master the technique before trying it on their own kind? Well, some even suggest the surgery was spiritual, a ritual performed with symbolic meaning. Whatever the reason, it suggests a level of anatomical experimentation we don't usually associate with early humans. A cracked skull, a strange scar, 1,000 questions. Number 4. Denisven jawbone. In early 2025, a fossil jawbone pulled from the seabed near Taiwan's Penghu Channel stirred up big questions. At first glance, it was just another old fossil. But when researchers analyzed the protein in the teeth, they found something wild. It closely matched a Denisven specimen found thousands of miles away in Siberia. That makes this jaw the first real evidence that Denisvens, our ancient human cousins, once lived in East Asia. No DNA could be recovered too degraded, but the proteins told enough of the story. This isn't just about one jawbone, it's a major shift in how far Denisvens may have spread across the globe. They weren't just hiding out in Siberian caves, they might have been thriving across a massive range from the icy north to subtropical Taiwan. It's the kind of quiet, weird find that reshapes everything we thought we knew about ancient migration. No pyramids, no gold, just one lonely jaw rewriting the map. Number 3. The solar eclipse petroglyph. Carved into the sandstone of Chaco Canyon, New Mexico, there's a petroglyph that doesn't look like much at first. Just a circle with jagged rays. But some experts believe it's an ancient record of a total solar eclipse that happened in 1097. Think about that. A community watching the sun vanish in the middle of the day and deciding to capture that moment in stone. It's unlike most of the other Pueblo carvings found in the area, which are more symbolic or ceremonial. This one feels like documentation. What's more, it closely resembles drawings of eclipses made centuries later by astronomers. The Pueblo people already had a reputation for tracking solar events. They used sun markers to follow solstices and seasonal shifts, so it's not a stretch to think they caught this one too. We'll never know exactly what they felt when the sky went dark, but this carving might be the closest thing we have to standing there beside them, watching the day blink out. Number 2. The Hull Mermaid. In the depths of the Hull Maritime Museum rests a 2-foot creature that draws more attention than any whale skeleton or ship model, a mummified mermaid. Its leathery skin, shriveled face, and stitched limbs give it a grotesque, uncanny appearance. For years, people whispered that it might be real, but X-rays told a different story. The body is a fish. The head is a monkey, held together by wires and creativity. These kinds of mams became popular curiosities in the 1700s and 1800s, especially among sailors returning from Southeast Asia. Many had encountered dugongs or manatees from a distance, mistaking their vague shapes and flicking tails for mythical sea women. Craftsmen caught on quickly, fabricating these hoaxes and selling them to collectors eager for a slice of the unknown. The Hull Mermaid is one of the better preserved examples of this maritime mischief. It's fake, yes, but it represents something real, the human obsession with the sea, with myths, and with finding the extraordinary in the unexplained. Number 1. The Valley of Balls. In the barren Shep Desert of Kazakhstan lies a landscape littered with giant stone spheres. Locals call it the Valley of Balls, a name that barely captures how strange and otherworldly the place feels. Some of these formations are the size of soccer balls. Others rival compact cars. No one knows exactly how they formed. Some geologists suggest they're concretions, rocks formed by minerals collecting around a core, shaped over time by sediment and erosion. Others think they're volcanic in origin, hardened blobs of lava that cooled mid-air. But none of these theories cover everything. Why so many? Why here? And why such perfect shapes? With so little research done on site, much of the mystery remains buried in the sand. To the locals, the stones are more than geology. They're said to be remnants of giants, frozen in time by divine power. Whether myth or mineral, the spheres sit silent under the open sky, strange, still, and entirely out of place in the middle of nowhere. Did you find it rare? Well, let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.